An EC 103.1 sports presentation. Eureka College Red Devils men's and women's basketball on EC 103.1.
Brewer, corner triple, knocked down. Big shot there by Michael Brewer.
This Red Devils broadcast is made possible by City Blue Technologies in Peoria, an Epson dealer serving Central Illinois with sustainable office printing solutions. By Potter Rentals in Gilman, Illinois, owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Potter, both Eureka College class of 1965. By Heartland Bank and Trust, Randy Bigol, your State Farm agent in Peoria, Eureka College class of 1994. And by Kirby Foods in Metamora.
With the dump off pass to Brown, kick out, Provost, three, good. Here's a top of the key three, Webb, and that one falls through.
Now, let's go live to the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth for coverage of today's game.
Ended the game with a walk-off with the game winner three-point shot. It's just how the Red Devils were able to get the win. Provost ended up scoring Eureka's first 10 points of the night. He shot 11 of 19 from the floor, even adding 5 assists and 2 steals. There are a lot of players on this Eureka team that are going to be key tonight, and we're going to talk about them more as we get later into the broadcast. Ben Carter, who I will quickly highlight, he was able to secure a lot of rebounds. He's going to be somebody that Eureka's going to have to rely on, especially considering getting those rebounds. That's something the Red Devils have struggled with throughout the course of the season. Andrew Coker ended up posting his first double-double of the season in that game with 12 points and 12 rebounds. In terms of Eureka's last game that was played, they lost 75-63 to Rockford. We're going to cover that on our television station, but we had to postpone because of that shattered background. For those of you that do not know, the Red Devils did end up opening that game with a strong run. They jumped out to a 15-8 lead in that ball game, but overall they were not able to come up with the win this season. As we take a look at Blackburn, they're coming into the rematch with an 81-74 loss to Illinois College. That was a tightly contested ball game, 13 ties and multiple lead changes in that one. The Beavers on the season are led by Peyton Cook and Jalen Jeter. They each had 18 points in that game against Illinois College. They're going to be the lead offensive scorers for Blackburn here in this ball game. For Eureka, I'll be honest, the rebounds have not been there for the Red Devils. They haven't been able to outbox their opponents. That's something they're going to really have to step up and do today, especially if they are looking to complete that sweep. But for Blackburn, let's look at their strength. They have a lot of energy on their team. They're very excited coming into this game, and they have a lot of depth as well. Now, I'm not saying Blackburn is the biggest school, but they definitely have a few more players than Eureka does, and that can help them and be a huge advantage. For Eureka, as I mentioned, rebounding is critical for them. They're going to have to really step up and be sure to get the basketball off the glass. Eureka is actually 2-0 on the season when they out-rebound their opponents, but they're 0-9 when they are not out-rebounding their opponents. So put the facts together, and you can see what they're really going to have to do to win this ball game. Eureka, over these last few games, they definitely have been a little bit more balanced in scoring from my perspective. They've placed 4 players in double figures against Rockford, which is always a good sighting as well. But defensively, limiting Blackburn will be a major point of emphasis in terms of their scoring options. So Eureka will continue to look to their lead guard, Jackson Provost, to set the tone in this ball game. The Red Devils, as mentioned, they leaned heavily on him in that last game against Blackburn when he poured in the career high of 32 points and hit the game winner, but also look towards his ability to create opportunities for others. That will be central for Eureka's game plan this evening. But that is all we have for you on the pregame side of things. Stay tuned for the upcoming first half coverage right here on EC 103.1, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois, owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Folkers Potter, both Eureka College class 1965. Potter Rentals offers both residential and commercial property rentals, including vacation rentals in beautiful Prescott, Arizona. You can get more information on their website at potterrentals.com.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Randy Begole, a State Farm agent in Peoria. Randy graduated from Eureka College in 1994. He played basketball and tennis and was also a member of the TKE fraternity. Randy has been serving State Farm customers since 2001. His office is located at the corner of Knoxville and Forest Hill in Peoria. You can reach him at 309-322-8150 or at randybegole.com. That's Randy, BEGOLE.com.
We welcome you back into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. We're live from Carlinville, Illinois for today's matchup between the Eureka Red Devils and the Blackburn Beavers as we get set 20 minutes on the clock. But before that, the announcement of each team's starting lineup. Again, I apologize if it is a little difficult to hear the PA announcer. The microphone is not the strongest, but I will do my best to push things along and flow this really smoothly. So as we take a look at Eureka and Blackburn, their last matchup, of course, ended in the Eureka win, 80-77. Eureka started Ben Carter, Andrew Coker, Max Richardson, Micah Brewer, and Jackson Provost. That was their starters last game. And again, as they announce the starting lineups for this evening's ball game, I will do my best to announce them as they are said. Feel very confident, the Red Devils, in this new year. Again, just like our previous broadcast, looking to start things off with a bang. So for Eureka, the starting five: Ben Carter, Micah Brewer, Jackson Provost, Andrew Coker, and Max Richardson. The same starting five as their previous matchup against Blackburn. And now it'll be sent over to the starting lineups for the Beavers, who have a similar kind of starting lineup show where they shut the lights off in the gym. And unlike at Eureka, they have colored lights. So there's one guy to my right with a pink light. It looks like somebody on the other end. Maybe they're all pink lights, but it's pretty cool. So the Blackburn fans getting into this ball game as they announce the starting lineups for the Beavers. So the starting five for Blackburn is announced. It will be Sion Welsh, Darius Duff, Cameron Carter, Peyton Cook, and Evan Jordan on the floor for Blackburn. Eureka decked out in maroon and gold. Blackburn in their white and black. 20 minutes on the clock. We are set for tip-off just before 3:30 p.m. Central Time. And if you're tuning in, again, we welcome you into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Matthew Swan on the call. I will say, funny story, Red Devils have a bit of a larger roster this season. I actually had to end up moving my broadcast table over to the right so they can fit everybody on the bench. And the Red Devils win the tip-off. It'll be Micah Brewer. Already Eureka pushing the pace. Good cut from Coker at the rim. And good. Andrew Coker getting us started here in this ball game. So immediately for Blackburn, it's Carter taking the triple, top of the key, no good. This game might be a little confusing because there is a Ben Carter on Eureka. There is a Cameron Carter on Blackburn. So I'll I might just say first and last name for the Carters. Here's a flip over to Coker. Brewer, top of the key, shifting right. Ben Carter, right wing triple short. And this one rebounded by Cameron Carter. Pushing the pace against Carter. Good spacing created by Evan Jordan, the freshman out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, to tie things up at 2. Ben Carter's not an easy guy to go up against, but Evan Jordan, despite his first season at the collegiate level, he does have a lot of size himself, standing at 5'11" compared to Ben Carter. Actually, Ben Carter does kind of beat him in the height category. Jordan definitely has more mass to his size. Here's Coker, pump fake of the triple, behind the back, spinning right hand, and good. Andrew Coker, and you can have him, give him the first 4 points for Eureka in this ball game. Cameron Carter's going to have to go up against Brewer, stopping his feet. Good step back, gets it to fall through. Tied game. This is typically what we saw between these two teams the last time they faced off. There's a lot of back and forth. It wasn't necessarily this early in the ball game. Jackson Provost connecting for 3. And just like that, that'll force Blackburn to call a timeout. We mentioned Eureka is going to look to Jackson Provost to set the tone, and he is doing just that. So Red Devils 7, Blackburn 4. Timeout with 18:22 to go. We will take a break as well. Stay tuned. We'll be back right here on EC 103.1.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Heartland Bank and Trust, serving 48 communities throughout Illinois and eastern Iowa, including Washington, Metamora, El Paso, Germantown Hills, Carlock, and in Eureka. Their main branch is on Main Street downtown, and their drive-up and ATM is nearby on Center Street. And find Heartland Bank and Trust anywhere at htmbank.com.
Welcome back into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. We're live here from Cartonville, Illinois, broadcasting from Dawes Gymnasium. And it will be Blackburn basketball to start things off here. Eureka forced Blackburn to call a timeout after a triple from Jackson Provost. Red Devils up 7-4. Coker was able to knock down the first 4 points for Eureka. All of a sudden, Blackburn trailing early. Here's Cameron Carter over to Evan Jordan. He's going to have to kick it out. Cook. Pass over to Welsh in the paint. He's able to knock it down at the rim. 7-6. A lot of back and forth early on. Both teams playing with high intensity, moving the ball really well. Good shifty move from Micah Brewer, and now it's in the hands of Richardson. Richardson going up against Duff. At the rim is Carter, no good. Gets his own board, fight for the basketball. No whistle as he comes up with it. Provost pass into the paint for Coker, who has 4 points already, and make it 6. Nice little 360 right hand for you. 9-6 Red Devils on top. Cameron Carter up the floor. Carter is a player for Blackburn, the engine of their offense, if you will. No good on the 3 there. Tried to tie it up with one shot. Micah Brewer between the legs. Another nifty player. Eureka's best 3-point shooter. It's been that way for a couple of seasons now. Brewer has really developed himself in terms of shooting beyond the perimeter. Here's Provost in the paint, trying to create some space, spinning against Jordan, floating it up with the right hand and somehow getting it to fall. That was not an easy shot from Jackson Provost, but he's up to 5 in this game already. 5 of Eureka's 11, just over 16 and a half left to play. Cameron Carter, bounce pass to Duff in the paint, kicks it out. Here's a shot from Cook, no good on the triple, and it's Ben Carter with the rebound. Red Devils early on have been doing a very great job at rebounding. We know it is going to be very critical in terms of Eureka potentially coming up with the win, in which would be their second win against Blackburn on the season. Into the hands of Jordan, bounce pass over to Duff. Duff going against Provost in the paint. Couldn't create space and kicks it out. Jordan right wing. Double team, stops his feet, puts it up off the glass, no good. But He does draw the contact and will get sent to the line. And actually, it looks like they're going to call a timeout here. So 15:48 left to go in half number one. Red Devils off to an early start. They lead 11-6. We'll take another break. Stay tuned. You're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. City Blue offers Epson Precision Core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. City Blue was founded in 1968 and serves more than 5,000 active customers. Learn more about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
So once again, Eureka forcing Blackburn to take a timeout. We welcome you into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. You're listening to EC 103.1. Matthew Swan on the call. And with 15:48 left to go in this first half, Eureka leads it 11-6. They're off to another fantastic start against this Blackburn team. Blackburn has been moving a little slow to start things offensively, not really producing a lot of numbers in that category. But just like we take a look at the last matchup between these two, Provost, as mentioned, scored the first 10. This time it was Andrew Coker getting things started. And now at the free throw line, it's Jordan. Eureka College basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. City Blue offers Epson Precision Core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. City Blue was founded in 1968 and serves more than 5,000 active customers. Learn about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com. So Jordan pretty successful at the free throw line. Provost has it stripped and pushing the pace for 2 points. Jalen Jeter finding his first few minutes of this ball game. Carter on the other end, no good on the left hand, but he draws the contact. These men's basketball games tend to be a little more intense, and I'm just talking about pace of play in general, but it will be Ben Carter at the line. Carter averaging 7.3 points per game. He has a season high of 12 points in that loss. It was the exhibition game against Indiana State, and that's something that I think head coach Chip Wilde has done so well. Chip Wilde, who is now in his 19th season here at Eureka, does a great job at challenging his players. A lot of teams, they don't think, especially at the Division III level, they don't think, you know what, let's go up against this Division I school. But that's what Eureka does. Before conference play, they love to challenge themselves. They play schools they normally wouldn't play otherwise, and it's a really great way at getting your team conditioned for the upcoming season. Provost on the other end fouled on the shot, so he'll get sent to the line. Eureka College basketball is made possible by Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois, owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Folkers Potter, both Eureka College class 1965. Potter Rentals offers both residential and commercial property rentals, including vacation rentals in beautiful Prescott, Arizona. You can get more information on their website at potterrentals.com. So Provost will go 1 for 2 at the line. Red Devils up 13-10. Just over 15 minutes to go. Here's a triple from Cameron Carter, and he knocks it down. Tied ball game. Cameron Carter, who's shooting 41.2% from behind the arc, coming into this ball game. Good pass, good find from Carter. Coker tried to slam it down, but instead he's fouled. Wow, that would have been electric. We haven't seen a lot of that this season. I know last year there were a couple plays. One of the guys, Max Richardson, on this Eureka team, one of the taller players, he stands at 6'4". He was able to slam one down last season in a playoff game at the Reagan Athletic Complex, and I remember I was broadcasting that game. Fans did, in fact, go wild. So Richardson, speaking of, he will come out of this ball game, and Coming in to take his position will be Jonah Loff for his first couple of minutes in this game. Coker 1 for 2 at the free throw line. That's starting to be a trend for Eureka. Again up the floor, it's Cameron Carter. Right wing, pump fake. Jacob Gonzalez in the ballgame, guarding Carter. Now into the hands of Jeter. Jeter finds Welsh. Welsh kicks it out. Here's a three from Carter. Too strong. Offensive board from Welsh. Using all 6'3" of his height to pull that one in. And this triple from Cameron Carter falls through. That'll put Blackburn on top, their first lead of the evening, up 16-14. His second triple of this ball game. Provost looking to respond. No good on the mid-range. Rebound pulled in by Blackburn. And who else but Carter? Another shot at three off the glass and falls in. Cameron Carter, do not let him get hot. His third three-pointer so far. Still almost 14 minutes left to go in this first half. That pass from Provost picked off by a couple different Beavers. The left hand and 2 points for Jalen Jeter. That'll force Coach Wilde and the Eureka Red Devils into a timeout. 13:38 left to go. Red Devils trail 21-14, down 7. Again, we'll be back. Stay tuned. You're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Metamora Kirby Foods. They are 100% employee owned with a deli, produce section, and meat department with its own in-house butcher. Metamora Kirby Foods is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. They are located on West Mount Vernon Street in Metamora. Get more information at kirbyfoods.com.
We welcome you back into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth live from Carlinville, Illinois, here at Blackburn College for this matchup between the Eureka Red Devils and the Blackburn Beavers. So Eureka finally forced to take a timeout of their own. They had a very strong lead to kick things off. All of a sudden, they find themselves down by 7 with 13:38 left to go in this first half. So it'll be Gonzalez up the floor, now into the hands of Coker. Dylan Logsdon into the game for the first time. Here's Gonzalez, open look at the rim, and he's blocked. Great defensive stop by Blackburn, immediately pushing the pace. And I'm surprised Welsh didn't get called for a travel there. Good save. Here's Jeter going against Carter. Blackburn will reset here. This is what they're good at. They play with a lot of intensity. Triple, no good from Camden Nelson, the junior out of Lincoln, Illinois. Red Devils will look to respond, finding Logsdon. Left wing, triple, short, offensive board taken away by Carter. Now Andrew Coker with the basketball. He resets top of the key. You know, looking at their gameplay, the Red Devils they don't take a lot of breaks. They're constantly moving, even if one of the guys does not have the basketball. And they're always trying to get into the right position, looking for space on the floor. And it kind of forces them to get tired early on. A nice little clock stoppage there for the Red Devils. Gives them a chance to reset here. Gonzalez inbounds to Loff. 4 on the shot clock. Logsdon's going to have to get rid of it. He finally does. No good on the shot. It was close, but slightly off to the left. Loose ball out of bounds. And it will go back to Blackburn, I believe. So Red Devils could not pick up the offensive rebound on that opportunity. They trail 21-14. As we take a look at conference play in the SLIAC right now, it is Webster obtaining that first place spot. 9-2 overall, 2-0 in conference, undefeated, of course. And a foul. Okay, so Darius Duff, I believe he just traveled. His foot completely slipped, but instead they called Carter for a foul. And Coach Wilde arguing the same thing. I don't blame him one bit. He just said to the ref, it's right in front of you, and it was. I mean, these calls are unbelievable sometimes. Here is Welsh in the paint. He's going to kick it out. Here's a three-pointer. This time, Camden Nelson connects. He made an attempt earlier. He wasn't successful, but all of a sudden, he's finding his groove on the floor. And now it's Andrew Coker. I do have to say, Coker has stepped up significantly for Eureka. There's a triple for Eureka. So some momentum. But let's talk about Andrew Coker. He, like I said, he stepped up really well this season for Eureka. He's bringing somewhat of this physical interior first kind of presence to the team. He provides Eureka with a lot of toughness. I will admit, too, he might not be the quickest guy, but he has good hands, he has great drive, and he has a willingness to make this offense function, as you're able to listen to right now. Even if he's not involved in the actual scoring, he knows what to do to create a successful offense. There's going to be a whistle against Eureka. Offensive foul. Chip Willie, head coach Willie, not happy with the call. And again, the Red Devils will have to call another timeout. So 11-12 left to go in this first half. 27 for Blackburn, 17 for Eureka. They started out hot. All of a sudden, they're down. Stay tuned. We'll be back. You're listening to EC 103.1, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois. Owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Folkers Potter, both Eureka College class 1965. Potter Rentals offers both residential and commercial property rentals, including vacation rentals in beautiful Prescott, Arizona. You can get more information on their website at potterrentals.com.
We welcome you back into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth for the remaining 11 minutes and 12 seconds of coverage here in this ball game between the Eureka Red Devils and the Blackburn Beavers. So far, Blackburn up 27-17. The Red Devils started out really hot. All of a sudden, momentum has shifted. Things have changed, and Blackburn is starting to find their pace of play. So it will be, I believe, Blackburn basketball to kick things off here. Coach Willie fired up on the sideline. Obviously, he wants to start the new year off successful. Wants to remain on top, above 500 in conference play. There's a two-pointer. Nice little layup from Jalen Jeter to put Red Devils back, to push the Red Devils back even further. Just under 11 minutes left to go. It'll be Carter in the paint, putting it up off the glass. A.J. Wells, the senior out of Chicago, Illinois, finding his first minutes in this ball game, connects for two. So all of a sudden, Eureka back down by 10. And this is a good move by Coach Wilde. We don't usually see guys like A.J. Wells play a lot. They don't usually get a lot of minutes. But again, the Red Devils do have more players on their roster this year than they did last year. So they have that opportunity to constantly move guys in and out. And this will force some difficulty on the Beavers' defense. There is a foul, though, against Darius Duff. Eureka College basketball is made possible by Heartland Bank and Trust, serving 48 communities throughout Illinois and eastern Iowa, including Washington, Metamora, El Paso, Germantown Hills, Carlock, and in Eureka. Their main branch is on Main Street downtown, and their drive-up and ATM is nearby on Center Street. And find Heartland Bank and Trust anywhere at htmbank.com. So Darius Duff able to go 2 for 2 from the free throw line. That puts Blackburn up 31-19. Red Devils really need to get something going offensively here. Carter nearly traveled. Bounce pass over to Wells. Gonzalez, 12 on the shot clock. Good move. Right hand at the rim and a foul. Well, you know, these Red Devils players, they might not be the biggest. They might not have the most size on the floor, but they really know how to control the basketball. And just like that, you see a guy like Jacob Gonzalez, he's not the biggest guy on the floor, but with the way he controls the basketball, with the way he moves and his footwork is placed on the floor, he's able to find a lane to the basket. That's exactly what he did on that last play. And now he draws contact and gets to the free throw line, and that's really all you could ask for out of one of your players. So Dylan Logston will sub out. Ben Carter will sub out. We see Nolan Kerr step into the ball game. Provost back in as well. And the shot from Gonzalez good. He's 2 for 2 at the line. So now it's Jalen Jeter for Blackburn with the basketball. He stands at the top of the key, guarded by Kerr. Good move. Here's another triple attempt from Nelson, and short. A.J. Wells picking up the rebound. That'll be his first of the game. Gonzalez again pushing the pace. Kerr in the corner, left side. Bounce pass over to Wells. 17 on the shot clock. Red Devils moving a lot, not really getting a lot out of it. Here's a triple, and all of a sudden Jonah Loff, almost as if he can hear me, knocking down the three. 23 points now for the Red Devils. That one nearly stripped. Loose ball kept in possession by Blackburn, kicking it out. Here's a three from Jeter, short offensive board. Jordan fighting for it, and Gonzalez comes up with a steal. Crossover move, open lane at the rim. Right hand, good, and the foul. Jacob Gonzalez says, get out of my house. Another trip to the free throw line. For the senior out of Los Angeles, California, Gonzalez stepping up in this ball game. Gonzalez not usually a starter, more of a reserve player. He plays that type of role on this team, and he is very productive, very efficient, and he does make it a three-point play. So just under 9 minutes to go, 31-26, Blackburn on top. Again, you're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Matthew Swan on the call. Here's Jordan, right wing. He's going to kick it over to Welsh. Welsh going up against Wells. No travel call again. That is unbelievable. Here's a three-pointer, no good. And finally, Loft comes up with the basketball. They really need to pay more attention to these guys on Blackburn. A three from Loft, and he connects. Jonah Loft on back-to-back offensive possessions, starting to heat up from behind the arc. All of a sudden, the Red Devils are really starting to come back into this ball game. The referee kind of talking back to Coach Wilde. The two are arguing just a little bit. That's expected at one of these Eureka ball games. And finally, the Beavers get called for a travel. It was funny. The referee made the signal for the travel, and he immediately looked at the Eureka bench, and that will cause Blackburn to take a timeout. So they lead it 31-29. Eureka starting to chip away and come back into this ball game very slowly but surely. Again, we'll take another break. You're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois. Owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Folkers Potter, both Eureka College class 1965. Potter Rentals offers both residential and commercial property rentals, including vacation rentals in beautiful Prescott, Arizona. You can get more information on their website at potterrentals.com.
We are back, ready for the remaining 8 minutes of half number one between the Eureka Red Devils and the Blackburn Beavers. We welcome you into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. You're listening to EC 103.1. Matthew Swan on the call. Blackburn 31, Eureka 29. So here's a little game recap up to this point. The Red Devils started out hot. It was Coker, first 4 points of the game. Provost connected for a triple. Eureka started to chip away. All of a sudden, Blackburn gained some of that momentum, and they had a very decent lead just a moment ago. Now we're in a situation where Eureka is starting to get back into this one, and they're keeping it very competitive. Backdoor cut from Provost. Nice look. Good pass taken away by Evan Jordan. Red Devils had the right idea, but it looks like Blackburn was able to pick up on the read. Cameron Carter back into this game for Blackburn. He's having himself a night so far. 11 points, no good on the shot there. Kerr able to rebound for Eureka, and Brewer up the floor. Looks like the Red Devils will try to slow things down just a little bit. We'll take a look. Next game for Eureka will be on January 8th as they play MUW. It'll be very, very crucial to win that ball game. Here's a three-pointer from Jordan, and he knocks it down, extending Blackburn's lead. That's where transition defense comes in for the Red Devils. Right now, I feel like they're tiring themselves out a lot on offense. They're working a bit too hard, and they're not coming in with enough momentum on defense. Another triple knocked down. This time, the senior out of Spencer, Indiana, Caden Paquette. 37-29. Maybe that timeout by Blackburn is just what they needed. All of a sudden, pulling away, up by 8 points. Good pass by Richardson. Brewer underneath the rim, kicks it out. Coker, now Provost, right wing. Good screen by Richardson. Provost looking for help. Bounce pass. Richardson at the rim, and the foul. That's exactly what Eureka's looking for. 3-point plays, draw the contact, stop the clock. Take all the time you need. All the time you need to win this ball game. Blackburn 37, Eureka 31. Richardson on the season for these Red Devils. He's averaging 4.1 points per game. He's been with the Red Devils for all 4 years of his collegiate career. Last season, appeared in 19 games, averaging 2.4 points per game. So just from those stats alone, you can tell how much he has improved over the course of a single season. Carter, top of the key, shifts left, finds Welsh in the paint. He's going to kick it out to Paquette. Now into the hands of Walter. Evan Jordan back to Welsh. Good ball movement from these Beavers. Here's a triple, no good. Offensive board taken away by Walter. Kicks it out. Carter, three, no good. Another rebound, and this time put up and in by Owen Walter. That'll get the Blackburn bench hyped up immediately. That was a great offensive possession. Multiple offensive boards. A shot from Brewer, no good. It spun in and out. And immediately Blackburn transitioning back into offense. Carter at the rim against Brewer. Evan Jordan, top of the key. He will signal the rest of his teammates. A lot of physicality in the paint, specifically against Walter and Richardson. Here's Welsh. Jump step. No good. No shot attempt. Here's Carter. 2 on the shot clock. Step back. Putting it up. Bounced off the rim. No good. Offensive board. Loose ball. Welsh. A lot of movement on the floor. And the pass. No good. Almost came into the broadcast booth over here. Looks like that pass slipped out of Welsh's hand. And that will be... Are they saying Blackburn basketball? Maybe one of the Eureka players tipped it, but from my view, it looked like Welsh kind of just threw it straight out of bounds. So it'll be Cameron Carter inbounding. Deep pass out into the quarter. Here's a shot from Jeter. No good on the 3 attempt. And Ben Carter takes it away. 4:40 left to play. Red Devils 32 points. Blackburn 39. No good on the offensive possession. And there's a foul. That one, Evan Jordan drawing the contact. Looked like he tried to go for the dunk. And he will get sent to the line. Eureka College basketball is made possible by Randy Begole, a State Farm agent in Peoria. Randy graduated from Eureka College in 1994, and he played basketball and tennis, and was also a member of the Teak fraternity. Randy has been serving State Farm customers since 2001. His office is located at the corner of Knoxville and Forest Hill in Peoria. You can also reach him at 309-322-8150 or at randybegole.com. That's Randy, BEGOLE.com. So Jordan able to go 2 for 2 from the free throw line, extending the Beavers' lead, and a steal by Blackburn. Loose ball taken away Here's Coker at the rim, putting it up and good. Good basketball IQ by Andrew Coker. But on the other end, it looks like maybe Camden Nelson injured himself a little bit. He is on the floor having to be helped up. So clock will stop at 4:12. 41-34. Blackburn leads the score. Looks like they're going to give Nelson some time here to recover if he needs it. And now that both teams start to make their way back out onto the court, that's always scary when you see a player end up on the floor. And like I said in our previous broadcast, trust me, it is not a good feeling. I don't know how a lot of these players, when they connect with the floor, they fall, they take contact, they make it look like it doesn't hurt. But in all reality, it's pretty painful. Would not recommend. This one kicked out into the corner. Now Carter, Cameron Carter, that is, spinning against Ben Carter. Now here's Cameron Carter with the mid-range, no good. Ben Carter with the rebound. Carter immediately pulling up for a triple, no good. It was on target. The rim did not help his case. Blackburn, 3.5 to go in this first half. And there is a foul against Cameron Carter. Nearly got away with a travel, it looked like. And another timeout will be taken. We're going to keep things here, though. 3:27 left to play here in this first half. Blackburn leads it 41-34. Right now, it's Cameron Carter for Blackburn leading the way, 11 points, but he's only shooting 4 for 11 from the field. Not the highest field goal percentage, but he's getting the job done when it matters. For Blackburn here, their next game will also be on January 8th at home. They host Lyon College. Lyon, who will be a very challenging matchup for the Beavers, as Lyon holds that number 2 spot in the SLIAC right now. They are 8-2 overall, 3-0 in the SLIAC. Actually, that should put Lyon and Webster, they're going to go head-to-head. It's a little interesting because a lot of these teams, it seems like, in my opinion, it seems like conference play has been off to a very slow start this year. I felt as if it was just for Eureka, but it seems like every team, they're more focused on playing these non-conference teams and really getting them conditioned, improving their skills. And it turns out that that's the case for almost every team in the SLIAC this year. But for now, both teams make their way back to the field. And it'll be Cameron Carter at the line to shoot for 2. Eureka College basketball is made possible by Metamora Kirby Foods. They are 100% employee-owned with a deli, produce section, and meat department with its own in-house butcher. Metamora Kirby Foods is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. They are located on West Mount Vernon Street in Metamora. Get more information at kirbyfoods.com. There's a left hand, and good from Evan Jordan. As Carter was not able to knock down the first free throw, Eureka had the offensive possession, lost the basketball, and that is where we are now. Evan Jordan with the left hand and good. Here's Provost in the paint, pump fake, putting it up. No good off the glass. And boy, the Red Devils are having a very difficult time right now, just knocking anything down. Here's a good pass into the corner. The triple from Jeter, no good. And it looks like a foul call against Blackburn, so Eureka will have a chance to regain some of that momentum here. Just over 2.5 to play in this first half. 45-34, Blackburn on top. Good pass, good find. Andrew Coker with the 2. Court awareness is going to be big in this ball game. Speaking of court awareness, Sion Welsh able to spin around a few defenders, use the right hand, and the foul. But he does draw a lot of contact. He hit the floor hard, and he'll get sent to the line to make it a 3-point play. Sion Welsh. He's been able to start in all 12 games this season. The junior out of Charleston, West Virginia. He did start this ball game as well, so that trend continues. And he knocks down that free throw, so he does make it a three-point play in a successful fashion. Micah Brewer up the floor for the Red Devils. Now Loft finds Carter. That is Ben Carter. Kicking it back out to Brewer. Just over 2 minutes left to go. Brewer, a strong three-point shooter, knocks it down, but there's a whistle before the shot. And Micah Brewer with his hands on his head. Of course, now if the foul wasn't called, what are the odds Brewer doesn't make the shot? So yeah, it does look like there was a foul against Max Richardson. So he's now at the line shooting 4 free throws. It looks like for the Red Devils, we're going to see a quick substitution. Looks like Amar Brokman, who doesn't get a lot of playing time, the senior out of Gary, Indiana. He is now subbed in this game going up against Cameron Carter. So very quickly, he's put up against one of the most challenging tasks of this ball game, and that is defending the offensive leader for these Beavers. A lot of physicality, a lot of movement down on the floor. Here's Evan Jordan at the rim with the right hand, gets it to fall, and that will extend the Beavers' lead. They now have 50 points. Up by 12, Eureka trailing. Good pass. Loft able to track it down. Carter, triple over Jordan, and good. Ben Carter, who took a shot from 3 just a moment ago. He was on target. The rim did not help his case. This time, he's able to connect, starting to feel himself and gain that confidence. Just over a minute to go. Good steal, loose ball. Carter dives. Eureka basketball at the rim. And 2 points for Micah Brewer. Devils finding some flow in their gameplay. Just under a minute to go. It's Jalen Jeter, top of the key. Stopping his feet, kicks it out. Here's a 3, that one short. Micah Brewer on the board. No good from Owen Walter on the shot attempt. Ben Carter, another triple. This time he's blocked. Maybe he thought he got a foul. Here's Carter on the other end. Left hand and good. Too fast for Micah Brewer, who tried to chase him down. There is about a second shot clock difference and game clock. So the Red Devils will have to get out one more shot. It's Carter in the corner, left side. Loud pass to Richardson. Tried to find him, couldn't do it. Jeter takes it away. Less than 10 to go. Here is the shot. Left hand, no good from Jeter. And putting it back up, grabbing his own board. 3 seconds. Brewer, deep shot, no good. That was a little longer than half court. And the first half does come to an end. Red Devils trail 54-43. It was a great start to the ball game. Eureka had a game plan. They followed that game plan. All of a sudden, they were looking a little worn out, a little tired, and Blackburn has been able to really grab that momentum, pull it into their direction. So Coker for Eureka leads the team in this game with 11 points. And it's Cameron Carter with 15, along with Evan Jordan right behind him with 13. But as mentioned, that is the end of the half. So stay tuned. We'll be back for upcoming second half coverage right here on EC 103.1, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Randy Begole, a State Farm agent in Peoria. Randy graduated from Eureka College in 1994. He played basketball and tennis and was also a member of the TKE fraternity. Randy has been serving State Farm customers since 2001. His office is located at the corner of Knoxville and Forest Hill in Peoria. You can reach him at 309-322-8150 or at randybegole.com. That's Randy, BEGOLE.com.
The Best of Our Knowledge explores topics on learning, education, and research. Coming up, We'll speak with a scientist who helped pinpoint a unique and long-theorized form of matter. And we'll visit a museum in upstate New York that organizers hope will inspire the next generation of firefighters. I'm Lucas Willard, host of The Best of Our Knowledge. This is The Best of Our Knowledge. I'm Lucas Willard. A global team of scientists has pinpointed a new form of ice. Well, not exactly what you put in your glass. For decades, quantum spin ice was a theorized form of matter. The discovery could have major impacts in fields like quantum computing. Rice University physicist Pengcheng Dai helped lead the team that has discovered this form of matter that exists at the electron level near absolute zero temperatures. I spoke with Dr. Dai to learn more.
So classical physics, we typically, speak about this that laws of motion, like Newton's law, right? When a system moves, you will have a particular velocity and particular a mass, and when it hits something, it will stop or it will bounce back, right? And in the case of quantum physics, it's quite different. Quantum physics only occurs in materials where the electrons are extremely light. Not only they're extremely light, they actually have a spin of a half, not very large spin. Spin is extremely small. Smaller spin, for example, electron would have a spin of a half. And in this case, there's a lot of so-called quantum fluctuation, or what typically people call, fluctuating fluctuations due to quantum motion. For example, you would naively think, a typical material, when you gradually cool down, the vibration of a material will become less and less, right? But eventually, the question is, what actually happens at zero temperature, the absolute zero temperature? And in the classical world, you should expect, atom will cease to move, right? At zero temperature. But that's not what quantum mechanics tells us. In quantum physics, even at absolute zero temperature, the atoms are still moving. So that's actually the key analog. Basically means that it still has a lot of motions that are basically disallowed, in classical, physics, but only occurs in quantum world. And this is analogous as saying that let me give you, another example. Let's simply think about, when you have a two slit on the wall, right? If you shoot a machine gun on the wall with a two slit, you should expect the bullet only goes through the walls, right? And then you have two, imprint on the other side of the wall, right? And that's purely classical physics, right? But if you now think about the shooting the particle as a quantum particle, spin of a half quantum particle, and your pattern after the two slit will no longer be, only occurring the intensity at the two slit position. You should expect to see, modulation of intensities, or you'd expect to see, photons or electrons at a position. You cannot draw a straight line, from where your gun is and where you're sort of after the screen. So this is so-called the wave nature of electrons, even at the absolute zero temperature.
So what you're saying is that in quantum spin ice, in this concept, that even at the coldest temperatures, at absolute zero, at the tiny electron level, there's still the ability for electrons to have wiggle room, to basically be moving. They're not frozen in place. Yes. So
in this case, go ahead.
So I'm just curious as to understand, why is this valuable to understanding that even at the coldest temperatures, even at absolute zero, that there is still movement at the tiniest of levels.
Yes, this is exceedingly important because, first of all, it doesn't occur in classical physics. And second of all, it's exceedingly important in the sense that, it basically tells us that the quantum mechanics is important. And this is particularly also important because of quantum computation. Because quantum computation different from analog of, classical computation, you have basically 1, 0, 0, 1, right? These are the two only possibilities. But in quantum physics, you can have, just like I gave you the earlier example of, wave passing through a two slit, you can have so-called ambiguous states. So this was the concept of quantum spin, liquid was, coined like 50 years ago by a giant, Philip Anderson. What he proposed back in 1970, was basically saying that, any material, when you eventually go to low temperature, you either will order in one way or the other. But what Philip Anderson, suggested is that you can have a, electronic state or spin state of a system in which there are many possibilities to form the spin state, and yet there's no long-range order. What he's basically saying is that you can have potentially a quantum state from which you have many potential possibilities. They're all equal in energy, but then, they can interfere, they can correlate, but they do not exhibit static long-range order. And this is particularly important, for the, quantum computation, because in the case of quantum computation, you can increase the speed, of computing by many, many orders of magnitude. And this is actually, one of the hot pursuits in modern physics and in modern technology.
So I wanted to talk about your work and your team's work to actually confirm a material that behaves as a quantum spin ice, this special type of material.
It's called a paracol.
So tell me about your team's research and why you went out to actually confirm the presence of this material and how it behaves as a quantum spin ice.
Yeah, this is the so-called emergent, photon scattering. And like I said earlier, the ice is something we understand, with many sort of degenerate state with, the hydrogen between two, in and two out. And in analog with, water, you have this called, when you put each of the tetrahedral site, for example, in a paracol lattice, we put a spin on the tetrahedral site. And the spin, because a spin is nothing but, north and south pole, right? You can essentially think about it, north-south pole, basically a simple magnet. Just like the stuff you put on your refrigerator, right? You have a north and south pole, and when you put each of the spin, for example, a quantum spin, which has a spin of a half on a lattice that sort of a tetrahedron, meaning has four corners, and that basically means the spins can either go in and go out, completely analogous to hydrogen go in, go out. And in the classical spin ice, and this problem was solved like 20 years ago. And then the classical spin ice will be spin ice in which the moment is exceedingly large. There's no quantum effect. But about 25 years ago, theorists have predicted if quantum effect were to be important, then a key signature, in addition to the regular physics, would be this so-called emerging photon. And this emerging photon, basically, it's a photon is what we know is sort of a light, right? It's called a light. A photon would have a dispersion of linear dispersion. Basically, the speed of light is proportional, with energy is proportional to the speed of light, which has a linear dispersion. But this emerging photon is basically a signal coming from a magnetic signal, basically coming spin fluctuations. And the spin fluctuation in most material would not behave like, with this linear slope. Well, this emerging photon, because it follows a particular theoretical framework, and is purely derived coming from purely quantum effect, and would have this emerging photon, which has a linear dispersion at zero energy. And this hypothesis was there for 25 years, and we have, be the first group to have detected this, basically confirming that this particular material is very much behaving like a quantum spin ice instead of a classical spin ice. Thus, suggesting this compound, is really potentially be the first sort of a candidate or strong candidate for a quantum spin liquid.
So tell me about this actual compound, and what is the name of the compound, and is it difficult to come by? Is it not an easy to find compound, or does it only exist at a very specific?
It's a man-made compound. It doesn't exist it's a man-made compound. It's basically it's purely sort of driven up a man-made compound in the sense that it's a serum, it's a rare earth, and zirconium is sort of a non-magnetic material, and then oxygen is typically, sort of oxygen, that's what we breathe, right? So this particular compound has a crystal structure, so-called a paracore structure. And this is the same, structure where the classical spin ice have been, discovered. And for example, you probably heard a concept called a monopole, right?
Well, I have not, but could you explain it to me?
Yeah, monopole, basically, when we say we have, a sort of a magnet will have a, north and south pole, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the charge, charge will have you have a charge, have an electron that carries a negative charge, right? You have a proton that carries a positive charge, right? And these two things can be completely separated, right? You can have electrons running around in solid, and whereas you can have a positive charge, that completely, running around as well, right? I mean, in most solid, it's sort of fixed about. But what's actually special about, magnet is that, south and north pole are always connected. Always one side is north and one side is a south pole. So in this case of a classical, a spin ice, you can have a situation in which when the spins flip within the solid, it almost behaves like you can have a monopole, meaning the pole only behaves like a north or only behaves like a south. So that's why, the classical spin ice is exceedingly interesting.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Heartland Bank and Trust, serving 48 communities throughout Illinois and eastern Iowa, including Washington, Metamora, El Paso, Germantown Hills, Carlock, and in Eureka. Their main branch is on Main Street downtown, and their drive-up and ATM is nearby on Center Street. And find Heartland Bank and Trust anywhere at htmbank.com.
We welcome you back into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth for upcoming second half coverage between the Eureka Red Devils and the Blackburn Beavers. Through one, it's Blackburn on top 54-43 in what was a very strong start for this Eureka offense. Has seemed to suddenly fade away as the game has progressed. But Eureka does have a lot of positive factors that we will touch on later in the broadcast. One of those guys, the star players, Jackson Provost, who we talk about quite frequently, but right now for the Beavers, it is Cameron Carter leading the way, 15 points, 6 for 13 from the field. About 30 seconds before both teams start to get back on the floor and finally get things underway once again to begin the second half. All time inside, as we take a look inside of this series, Eureka leads against Blackburn overall, 50 wins and just 24 losses. That includes being here in Carterville and in Eureka. And with Coach Wilde, who is in his 19th season as head coach as Eureka, he holds a 27-11 record over the Beavers. Again, you remember, if you are just now tuning in, we'll go over some season history. The Eureka Red Devils did beat Blackburn earlier in the year. 80-77 was the final score in a career night for Jackson Provost. He knocked down the three-pointer at the buzzer to win the ball game. But we get ready for second half coverage. It's Blackburn to kick us off offensively. It'll be Evan Jordan spinning around, kicks it out into the hands of Cook. He goes for the triple. Shot wide left, no good. And it is Coker taking it up the floor. Ball into the hands of Jackson Provost. Provost, a guy that any coach would want. He is the ideal Division III basketball player. Here's a good pass. Brewer with the shot. No foul on the call. Another missed call by the referee, but Jackson Provost, he not only can shoot the basketball, he not only can defend, he is steady, he's physical, and he is fundamentally put together. All the things that any coach would want. What I've noticed from him just this season, because if you remember last season, if you followed us, Provost wasn't really one of the standout guys. He wasn't necessarily a full-time reserve player, but he just didn't have the talent level that he does now. This year, I've noticed he plays with that high level of experience. He shows all of that experience in the little things he does. Just the other day, just some background information, I was actually at the Reagan Athletic Complex maybe a couple weeks ago, and I was playing basketball, and the men's basketball team had an away game. And by the time I was in the gym, I see Jackson Provost walk in. Now, this is after the game. This is after the Red Devils have finished traveling and they got back to Eureka. And what does Provost do? He grabs a basketball and he starts working on his free throws. So it's the little things that really show up in a game like this. Provost, such a disciplined player with great shot selection. Carter on the and one converts into a three-point play. 57-45. Blackburn still leads it, just under 19 minutes to go. Here's a pass kicked out. Three-point attempt from Evan Jordan is knocked through. Evan Jordan give him 16 points on the evening. Blackburn continuing to pull away. In the first half, they relied heavily on their paint presence. All of a sudden, to start things off, they're starting to connect from behind the perimeter. Here's Brewer, good pump fake, nice floater, no good. Ben Carter, offensive board, and it's taken away by Evan Jordan. But before the Beavers can go into their fast break, there is a whistle on the back end of the court. I believe this will go against Eureka, so it'll be Blackburn basketball. 18-18 left to play. There is some confusion on the floor. The referee talking with the scorer's table, now walking into the direction of Coach Wilde. I think he's explaining their decision behind the call that was just made. And it was a foul, so Blackburn has a shot at the free throw line. I think it was maybe a flagrant. Cameron Carter at the line. No good on that first attempt. We saw this in the women's game as well, if you were listening just maybe about an hour ago. The similar call appeared. There was a foul against Eureka, and it allowed one of the Blackburn players to get to the free throw line for 4 attempts, even though there wasn't really a lot of physicality on the play. And we're seeing that same situation appear in this ball game as well. Carter will go 1 for 2 at the free throw line. It will stick with the Beavers because of the call. So they extend up 61-46, and they get possession. So into the hands of Cameron Carter, walking across half court. Very slow pace of play by the Beavers here in the second half. Now that they have a more comfortable lead, kicking it out. Pump fake, pass across the court. Here's a three-pointer. That one no good from Peyton Cook, and Eureka up the floor. Micah Brewer will have possession. Good pass to find Coker with the pump fake, creating some spacing using the right hand, and gets it to fall. The back of the net is where that shot ended up. And getting it in through the net to put Eureka to 48 points. Here's a three-pointer from Evan Jordan, and he gets it to connect. Jordan, his second triple of this half, and that's exactly what I'm talking about in terms of Blackburn just being able to connect from three in this half specifically. It wasn't really their game plan coming into this game, but they're starting to pull away from their initial game plan and switching things up, and it's working out for them really well. As a team, they're shooting 34.5% from behind the arc, and Max Richardson was fouled. No good on the shot, so he will be sent to the line. Good on attempt number one. Richardson on the season. Again, we talked about him a little earlier in the broadcast. 4.1 points per game, but he has been a leader in his own way, obviously, all 4 years here at Eureka College. He's made some appearances last season, but this is definitely the season where he's had the most minutes. And it shows he's progressing a lot. It seems like every single game he gets better and better. So 64-50 the score. Blackburn still on top. Just over 17 minutes to go. And again, thank you for tuning into our broadcast. You're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. There's a steal, nearly a steal by Eureka. Instead, it's a turnover as Welsh lost the basketball. Here's a triple. Jackson Provost, and he connects. Just talked about him. Good shot selection, and good shot selection indeed as he hits from behind the arc. 53 points now for the Red Devils and for Provost. That is his second triple of the ball game. 2 for 2 from behind the arc. Missed shot attempt there by Blackburn. Red Devils finding some space here. Good pass by Provost. Richardson up at the rim. No good, but he's fouled. This usually works out for Eureka as if they can just stop the clock as much as they can, draw contact, get to the line. The Red Devils last season, if you remember, did not have the greatest free throw percentage. This season it's picked up very slightly, but there is still a lot of work that can be done. 64.7% from the free throw line, but they are improving significantly this year compared to last season. Richardson will go 2 for 2. He continues to add on to his point total tonight, and it'll be Blackburn up the floor. Jalen Jeter over to Duff, now into the hands of Welsh. Welsh kicks it out, back to Duff with a mid-range, off the glass, no good, and Coker pulls in the rebound. Brewer up the floor. Looks like Richardson wants the basketball in the paint, calling for it, does not get it. Coker gave him a look. It's Carter. Carter passes, and it's picked off by Welsh. Fast break opportunity, nice Euro step, and good for the layup. Sion Welsh Jr. out of Charleston, West Virginia. Continuing to add on. Here's Coker fighting through contact. No good on the shot, but again, he'll be sent to the line, and that's really what is allowing Eureka to stay in this ball game. Drawing contact, getting to the line, and there is going to be a timeout by the Red Devils. That's what Coach Wilde has been doing all game. Right before any free throw attempt, he's been calling a timeout. So we'll take a break as well. Blackburn 66, Eureka 54, 15:36 left to play. Stay tuned. You're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. City Blue offers Epson Precision Core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. City Blue was founded in 1968 and serves more than 5,000 active customers. Learn more about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
Once again, we welcome you back here into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. You're listening to EC 103.1. Matthew Swan on the call. And as we get ready for the continuation of the second half, Blackburn still remains on top 66-54. As we take a look, 15:36 left to play. Eureka will begin after this timeout at the free throw line. Hasn't been the best end of the first half for the Red Devils. Again, they started up on top, and all of a sudden it's been Blackburn the entire way. But for now, it's Andrew Coker at the line. He will be shooting for 2. Red Devils not down significantly. There's still a lot of time left in this ball game, and if they keep playing the way they are, which right now their game plan is to draw contact, get to the line. That's typically how we see every Division III team operate, at least in my experience, when the end of the game starts to approach. Coker no good on the first attempt, and he is successful on the second shot. So Red Devils down by 11 points up the floor. It's Jeter for Blackburn, top of the key. He's going to kick it out to Welsh. Back to Jeter. Now over to Darius Duff. Duff going against Coker in the paint. 10 on the shot clock. Kicks it out. Triple from Welsh. And there is, I believe Welsh stepped out of bounds, and he did. So a turnover against Blackburn. Only their 7th of the evening. So Max Richardson will be subbed out. On the floor right now for Eureka, it's Loff, Carter, Provost, Brewer, and I believe the 5th player is Coker. Looking for Loff, bounce pass, Provost calls for it at the rim, floater, and good, very good possession by Jackson Provost, very good at controlling the basketball. His momentum was shifting right as he shot the basketball, but he timed the shot in a way that it was still able to fall through. Bounce pass into the paint, kicked out. Jeter goes for the triple, a bit too strong, and that one hit over the backboard, so it'll stop the clock and go in favor of Eureka here. You know, one thing, actually, just now that I'm thinking about it, we are in Carlinville, Illinois. We are at Blackburn College. And the way their basketball court is set up is pretty significant to me. It's interesting because right now I'm in the corner of the court, but their basketball court, think of like a ramp going up and then the basketball court to follow. So it's like, it's not a very long ramp, but the entire court, like inside the entire court is surrounded by maybe a foot-long ramp. So the court is a little elevated, which is interesting to me, but I bring it up because I don't see a lot of Division III schools with this type of setup. And I remember this setup from last season as well when Andrew Schulte was able to call a game with me. Obviously, Schulte graduated last season. Provost spinning 360 and knocking down the shot after the ball made contact with the rim. Again, Red Devils really getting a lot of good shots in when they're able to find some spacing on the floor. That pass was nearly picked off by Coker, but he knocks it out of bounds, so it'll stick with Blackburn. 13:51 to go. Beavers 66, Red Devils 59. A nice little floater on after receiving the pass from Evan Jordan falls through. And again, the Beavers extend their lead here. Looks like Eureka's really starting to slow down on defense, and it's showing. They're really pushing themselves down on the floor. Again, it's more just, we got to move, we got to move. That's kind of the mindset they have right now. They're not really getting a lot of time to catch their breath at all, and that's where the depth of this Eureka roster can come in. They have a bigger roster size than they did last year. Provost was fouled on the shot. He's at the line. That time the rim unable to help him out. But yeah, I mean, Eureka has a lot of players that don't get a lot of minutes. We know AJ Wells, he doesn't usually get a lot of playing time. We've seen him kind of grow into his role on this team a little bit over the last few games, but mostly when we say a lot of these players on Eureka don't get time, it's of course the freshmen, because they have to earn that role. They have to earn that spot and prove to Coach Wilde that they belong on this team. And we're looking at guys like Andrew Lewis, Caden Latta, a lot of these freshman guys who don't necessarily get the chance to play. One guy that early on in the season that I kind of highlighted in my notes, Santino Ruma, the freshman out of Birmingham, Arkansas. He stands at 6'6". And, you know, the first game of the season for Eureka was at Dominican. I didn't believe that Ruma was actually 6'6", because from my point of view, again, I was standing at an elevated distance. When you look at a guy like Santino Ruma from that distance, he doesn't really look 6'6". So I asked, at the time, my broadcast partner was Drew Donnell, and I asked him, I go, there's no way he's 6'6". Like, I had to actually stand next to the guy and understand that he really is that tall. But I was watching him in warm-ups before their first game of the season, and the way he was able to move the basketball, he's quick, he's tall, he has great agility, he's versatile. These are guys that you know, at some point, maybe towards the end of the season, you can expect to see at least make one appearance in this ball game. But as for now, they have yet to do so. So 12:56 left to go in this second half. Blackburn up 68-62. Red Devils starting to chip back into this ball game very slightly. Here's Evan Jordan. Good bounce pass over to Welsh in the paint. Kicks it out. Jordan against Brewer. Between the legs. 7 on the shot clock. Here's Jeter nearly losing the basketball. Provost comes up with it. Pushing the pace and a foul against Blackburn. Provost hit the floor hard. And that will immediately send Provost to the free throw line. Jackson Provost, again, the junior out of Kankakee, Illinois, on the season. He's shooting roughly 80% from the free throw line. Just slightly over the average at the collegiate level. And Provost will go 2 for 2 at the line. So with just over 12 and a half to go, Eureka continues to inch back into this ball game. Only down by 4 all of a sudden. You know, coming into the second half, the deficit seemed a lot worse for Eureka. Maybe it was just the overall energy and that kind of vibe that a lot of the fans here were giving, because for some time these Eureka fans, I'll be honest, there's a lot of Eureka fans here, but they were kind of quiet. It wasn't a typical road game. I mean, of course, we're not used to seeing a lot of Eureka fans in a Eureka road game, but when they do show up, you expect them to be a little loud. And in that first half, they were there. They were there with the players every step of the way. But towards the end of that first half, coming into the second half, it got a little quiet. And all of a sudden, they're starting to cheer on their team once more. So it'll be Micah Brewer up the floor into the hands of Provost. Jonah Loft standing in that right wing area. Provost will call plays. He goes up for the triple and he connects. Jackson Provost again. Boy, you want to see good shot selection. Talk to Jackson Provost, because he just knows when he's going to connect. He just has that feeling, almost like a spidey sense type of feeling. He can feel it in his bones. Good rebound there by Coker. Nice defensive stop by the Red Devils. Brewer pushing the pace. Maybe should slow things down. He runs through a lot of contact. I understand the aggression, and you're gaining a lot of momentum. You're coming back into this ball game, but at the same time, you don't want to waste a possession. So Eureka's going to call a timeout here. They're only down by 2, 69-67, Blackburn on top. 11 minutes, 45 seconds left to go in this ball game. Stay tuned. You're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Metamora Kirby Foods. They are 100% employee owned, with a deli, produce section, and meat department with its own in-house butcher. Metamora Kirby Foods is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. They are located on West Mount Vernon Street in Metamora. Get more information at kirbyfoods.com.
Welcome back into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. You're listening to EC 103.1. My name is Matthew Swan, bringing you today's coverage between the Eureka Red Devils and the Blackburn Beavers. Blackburn on top right now, 69-67, but all of a sudden, Eureka inching back into this ball game, and Micah Brewer finds himself at the free throw line. So the Red Devils, I believe, are in the bonus right now. So any foul will send them to the line. And Brewer with an opportunity to tie up this ball game. Red Devils haven't had the lead since the early stages of the first half. Brewer knocking down that first attempt. It was a one-on-one attempt. So now he does get that second shot. Brewer not usually a guy that drives to the basket as he did on that previous play. We know him for his three-point shooting, but who knows? It's a different year. Maybe he's coming into this year with a more aggressive game style, game plan. He does tie it up, 69 apiece. Duff in the corner at the rim. Good pass, finds Evan Jordan. He kicks it out. Here's a triple. That one short. Missed attempt by Cooper Carter. Offensive board, loose ball, and it goes out of bounds and 6 with the Beavers. So 11-16 left to go. Eureka has done a very great job at staying in this ball game. We know they like to get down on themselves. If they're down by a large amount, they really lose that momentum. And that goes for any team, really, especially, you come into the second half, you want to start off fresh. You want to come into the new half with a different mindset. But for Eureka, they immediately started giving up bucket after bucket. And that doesn't usually help their case, but all of a sudden they've been able to mentally stay checked into this game. Provost missed attempt there. Blackburn, an opportunity to extend their lead. Right hand, no good. Punched out of bounds. Here's Jordan with the floater, and Carter, that is Ben Carter, coming up with the rebound. Brewer bounce pass, Provost, triple, good! Jackson Provost, his third triple of the half, and he puts the Red Devils back on top. His senses were tingling, and he knew it. He knew it as soon as he released the basketball. He felt good. A nice pickup on the dribble, and a quick release, and the triple. Red Devils 72, Blackburn 71. Just over 10 and a half left to go. Blackburn will call a timeout. Stay tuned. We're going to send it to break. You're listening to EC 103.1, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Eureka College basketball is made possible by Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois. Owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Folkers Potter, both Eureka College class 1965. Potter Rentals offers both residential and commercial property rentals, including vacation rentals in beautiful Prescott, Arizona. You can get more information on their website at potterrentals.com.
And we're back into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth for the remaining 10 and a half minutes of this ball game. Eureka Red Devils looking to defeat Blackburn on the road. Right before that timeout called by Blackburn, Jackson Provost connected for yet another triple. That is his third of the half, and it puts Eureka on top for the first time since the first half. Provost all of a sudden grabs the team lead in points in this ball game. He's at 22. If you can remember from Eureka's earlier matchup against Blackburn this season, Provost was able to knock down a career high of 32 points. He is 10 away. Missed shot by Blackburn. Jeter gets his own offensive board, and he's going to get called for a travel. So that will be just the 9th turnover on Blackburn in this ball game. Clock will stop, 10:20 left to go. Looks like Coach Wilde giving Provost a little pep talk on the sideline. Coker, pump fake, going up against Duff, kicks it out. Loft thought about it, instead gives it to Carter in the corner. Carter driving to the rim, left hand off the glass, no good. Rebound, loose ball, and it's finally taken away by Welsh. Blackburn with an opportunity. Jeter at the rim, no good, but he fights through contact. He will be sent to the line. I liked the idea there from Ben Carter on the other end of the floor, using that left hand. See, with that ball movement by Eureka, what that allows them to do, you have all these Blackburn players moving all around the floor, trying to chase after the basketball. That ball movement from Eureka allows them to create some spacing. It allows them to force the Beavers players to shift to different positions on the floor. Hence why Carter was able to get to the basket. Here's Brewer over to Provost. Provost going up against Evan Jordan, the freshman. Provost, who has been Eureka's offensive leader for the entirety of this season, has stepped up in a big way in the second half. Here's Loft, corner triple, just short, and the offensive board nearly taken away by Loft, but coming up with it is Duff. So the Beavers on top, 73-72, just under 9.5 left to play. Here's Jeter Pass into the left wing. Now it's Welsh in the paint. Kicks it out. Jordan at the rim. Right hand through contact and good. That will extend the Beavers' lead. They now are up by 3. Speaking of 3, it's Micah Brewer taking it up the floor. Eureka's strongest three-point shooter for the last 2 seasons. He goes for it. He's blocked by Jeter, and it goes out of bounds. But a huge stop by the Beavers. Who knows? Micah Brewer may have just had himself a triple to tie up this ball game. It is still Eureka basketball. But at what cost? What a good stop by Blackburn. That really kind of throws things off here for Eureka. Now they have to reposition. They have to replan what kind of move they're going to go for here. Brewer, triple, just short. And there is a foul, I believe, on Eureka. So it should be Blackburn basketball. They were looking for Brewer that entire time. Brewer took the shot. He had 2 different chances. The first time he was blocked. Second time he was a little off, but again, Brewer hasn't really been heavily involved from behind the arc in this ballgame. Those were his first 2 shots behind the perimeter this evening, so maybe he's still getting a feel for the game. And he will be subbed out. Coker will be subbed out. Jacob Gonzalez back onto the floor for the Red Devils. Richardson, Carter, Dylan Logsdon back in there as well. Logsdon, I feel as if he hasn't been getting a lot of minutes this season, and it is Cameron Carter connecting for 3 at the top of the key for Blackburn. They are now up by 6. Well, that will quiet the Eureka bench. Kicked out. Logsdon pump fake to the rim, stops his feet, spins. Gonzalez in the paint, kicks it out. Richardson now into the hands of Provost to settle things down for the Red Devils. He's going to go for the mid-range, off the glass, no good. Blackburn, another opportunity to execute. Carter, another triple, this time left side, no good. Dylan Logsdon picks up the board. Gonzalez open look at the rim, fighting through contact, gets it, and the foul. Jacob Gonzalez. We've seen him do that more than once this season in a critical game, in a must-make situation. And that will force Blackburn to call another timeout. So Blackburn leads at 78-74, 7:51 left to go here in this second half. As I was saying, Jacob Gonzalez, we've seen him make that same play earlier in the season. We know in Eureka, there a few games ago, that was when students were still attending class. We weren't on break, and that was when the Reagan was filled up with all of these Eureka fans. And I remember Gonzalez, after knocking down this shot, he was able to stand up, look all the Eureka fans in their eyes, and some of them even reaching out their arms to give him a high five and really hype him up. That's the kind of energy we're looking to see here for Eureka. Obviously, it will not be as great because of the fact that they're playing on the road, but the Red Devils do have their own source of motivation in every single game. So they will come back out onto the field, onto the court, excuse me. Jacob Gonzalez at the free throw line, looking to make it a 3-point play. Again, you're listening to EC 103.1 live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Matthew Swan on the call. And Gonzalez does make it a 3-point play. That'll put the Red Devils down by just 3 once again. If they can make a defensive stop right here, that'll be a very good thing. It means Eureka can tie it up with 1 possession. Here's Jordan. He kicks it out to Carter. Right side triple, no good. Loose ball. Richardson comes up with it. Carter, 3 possessions on offense in a row for the Beavers, has taken a 3. The first one, top of the key. Second one, left side. Third one, right side, and Provost through contact knocks it down. Throws his arms up in the air, asking the referee, where's my foul? 1-point game, Blackburn on top. Carter, top of the key. Now into the left side, over to Jeter. Deep pass, Jordan, up the middle. Right hand, under the rim, good. 80 points now for the Red Devils. The score is 80-77. That was the final score last time these two teams faced off, although Eureka was the team on top. And there are still just under 7 minutes to go, so both these teams have increased their offensive performance. A foul against Blackburn. That'll send Provost back to the line. I told you the story about Provost on the road game, coming back to Eureka, immediately back into the gym, shooting free throws after everybody else most likely had gone back to their rooms. This is where it shows up. Provost knocking down the first attempt. This is where the little things start to matter. I mentioned Provost is a fundamentally put together player, and this is where it shows on the court in very crucial game situations like this. And he will go 2 for 2 at the line. Again, Red Devils trail by just a single point. If you can remember from last game, it was a nail biter. Provost knocked down a triple at the buzzer to win the game for the Red Devils. And immediately it looks like we're seeing a very close game, just like the last time these teams faced up. There's a bucket for Blackburn and a foul. I believe Micah Brewer will get called for that one. And that's going to send Welsh to the line. So Welsh makes it a 3-point play. All of a sudden, the Beavers are up by 4. Just under 6.5 minutes left to go. Gonzalez finds Provost. Provost looking for Richardson. A win for the Red Devils can put them above 500 in conference play. Kerr over to Logsdon. Dylan Logsdon, that is, top of the key. Great movement, great positioning from Eureka. 5 on the shot clock. Gonzalez driving to the basket. Floater, no good. Loose ball taken away by Cameron Carter. He's going to push the pace. Bounce pass put up by Jordan and good. Blackburn extends. That was such a great possession by Eureka. They were just not able to connect on the layup. Gonzalez with such a great move, such a great look, but it's hard. He was having to fight against 3 different people. Here's Kerr, triple, no good. Max Richardson, offensive board in the paint, nearly putting it up. A fight for it at the rim. Good again with the offensive board, and he knocks it down and screams in the face of his opponent, Owen Walter. There's that aggression we're looking for. He was very, very determined to get that bucket. He had 3 attempts, and the first time, okay, I missed. Second time, he was a little more upset. The third time, there was no way he was missing it. Here's a triple, no good from Jeter. Loose ball, fighting for it, and Blackburn comes up with it. Thought for a second Gonzalez was going to tip it into Eureka's favor and have an open lane, but 6 on the shot clock. Cameron Carter kicks it out. Evan Jordan, no foul call. Loose ball, 1 on the shot clock, getting the shot out, and that'll be a shot clock violation against the Beavers. That is a very great defensive set from Eureka. So it'll be Dylan Logsdon to inbound. We do see Jackson Provost sub out of this ball game. He's going to get some resting time and come back into this game, you can imagine, in the next minute or 2. 4.5 left to go. Richardson, good pass. Brewer at the rim, behind the back, and he nearly had an and-one situation. The Eureka bench was ready to erupt, but instead he will be sent to the line for 2. Micah Brewer having himself a pretty solid outing, 4 points in this game. This will be his second trip to the line this evening, and he's perfect up to this point. 85-81, Blackburn on top, just under 4.5 left to go. Brewer successful on that first attempt. Micah Brewer is a guy that he's an interesting guy to talk about. We already know he's their team leader in three-pointers. He led them last season, 42 total three-pointers last year. This season, of course, continuing that trend, averaging 7 points a game, and he goes 2 for 2 at the line. So it'll be Jeter to take it up the floor for Blackburn. Kicks it outside, Duff left wing. Jeter top of the key. Finds Carter. Back to Duff, left wing. Not a lot of dribbling from Blackburn. A lot of passing. Back to Jeter. He's going to push the basket, and he finds net with the left hand. Beavers up by 4, just under 4 minutes to go. So for Eureka, it's Brewer, Richardson, Gonzalez, Kerr, and Dylan Logsdon all on the floor. Logsdon in the paint. He's got to be careful. Richardson pump fake in the corner. Stops his feet, spins, kicks it out to Gonzalez, top of the key. 10 on the shot clock. Gonzalez over to Brewer. Brewer spinning, pump fake, putting it up. No foul call and a missed shot. That is unfortunate for Eureka, and that is a positive for Blackburn. Here's Jeter at the rim, a good move. Very nifty. Great ball movement on the drive, and he knocks it down, 89-83 Blackburn. And it looks like Coach Wilde will call a timeout. The defense chance from Blackburn maybe getting in the head of a few of these Eureka players. So 3:12 left to go in this ball game. Again, Blackburn 89, Red Devils 83. They're going to really have to slow things down here on this drive. What they're looking for right now, they're trying to set up a play. I think they're either going to look for Richardson. Now, this is just my input. I think they're either going to look for Richardson to get in the paint, maybe get back to the line, or they're going to try to find Brewer, because Brewer, I'd say Brewer can knock down a triple, but it's not needed right now. And Brewer, as we know, he's been really good at the free throw line in this ball game. He's 4 for 4. So I think maybe get one of your big guys like Richardson or Brewer to the line, somebody that is willing to fight for the basketball, somebody that has good handles, that won't lose the basketball, won't turn things over. So 3:12 left to play. Both teams will make their way back out onto the court. So it'll be Eureka basketball. Jackson Provost is back into the game as expected. Bounce pass to Brewer, and it's picked off by Jeter at the rim. And he goes for the easy layup. Not the start you were looking for. You cannot get lazy. Jackson Provost getting a little too comfortable. Provost with the basketball, stops his feet. Good pass to Coker. Coker mid-range, no good. Carter tried to steal it from Blackburn, no good on the attempt. 91-83. This is where the Beavers will slow things down. They're going to try to waste a lot of clock. It's Jeter, top of the key. Just over 2.5 to go. 13 on the shot clock. Pass to Duff. Duff going up against Brewer. Duff kicks it out. Here's Jeter. Left wing, knocks down the three. And that might have just sealed the deal. The Blackburn fans getting louder as time goes on. Here's Coker at the rim. He's blocked, and it's knocked out of bounds by Coker. Good defensive play by Sion Welsh. It'll be Blackburn basketball. Coach Willie will call yet another timeout. Just over 2 minutes left to go. 94-83, Blackburn on top. And that triple from Jalen Jeter could have just marked the end result of this ball game. The Red Devils had such a great opportunity coming out of that previous timeout Provost tried to inbound, and Jeter, of course, Jalen Jeter, he was there. He picked it off. I don't even think Provost gave him a look. He didn't try to scan the court, and that's what happens. You have, like I said, Provost, he's a fundamentally round player. He knows all the basics of the game, but sometimes when you know all the basic stuff and you're in a competitive game, sometimes you can ignore those fundamentals, and that's what he did. He did not decide to scan the court before getting the ball back in bounds. And then you have a guy like Jeter. Obviously, he's a freshman, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have great basketball IQ. Jeter was able to pick up on the lack of court awareness from Provost, take it down the court for the layup, and then the play after on the next offensive drive. Well, we already know that Jeter has been strong from behind the arc. He's taken 7 shot attempts from 3. So he's very comfortable in taking that risk. That was actually his first 3 that he made in this ball game. But now both teams back on the floor. 94-83 Blackburn with 2 minutes left to go. Here's Evan Jordan. He will spin out. Looked like Jeter was going to go for another 3, but he heard one of his coaches tell him, no, don't shoot it. Waste out the clock. Don't give Eureka that shot to come back into this ball game. We don't want that. So instead, Eureka is forced to foul, and that will send Jeter to the line. Jeter perfect from the charity stripe this evening. So he makes that first attempt. Jeter on the season averaging 15.4 points per game. He is already at 23. So that will raise up his average. Provost going to work in the paint, stopping his feet, finding space, and he is blocked, and Welsh is there to recover. Over a minute and a half to go. Jordan at the rim using the right hand over Micah Brewer, gets it to fall. Blackburn maybe just toying around at this point. Here's Loft, steps to the left, fires the deep 2, and eats it down. Actually, I think that might have been a triple from Coker, and it was. So Coker able to add another 3 points to the board for Eureka. He connects on what is his 3rd triple of the ball game. He's at 16 points, and the Red Devils will call yet another timeout. Blackburn leads it 98-86. Started off the ball game really strong. They even had a chance to come back. They did actually regain the lead at one point early here in the second half, but since then, Blackburn not only has come back into the game, they took the lead and even further extended that lead. So it looks like Eureka will be splitting the season series with Blackburn. And, you know, after this season ends, you have to question, what is this Eureka Red Devils roster going to look like next season? What is the culture going to look like next season? There are a lot of upperclassmen on this Eureka team. Just off the top of my head, I could name at least 6, maybe 7 seniors on this team. And to be honest with you, it's probably closer to 10 seniors. I think there might be around 10 seniors on this Red Devils team. So now I'm curious. Okay, so there are 13 seniors on this Eureka Red Devils team. That covers for pretty much half the roster. So that's where you have to ask, what is this team going to look like next season? And don't get me wrong, like, you have some of your junior guys. You have Micah Brewer. You have Jackson Provost, one of your stars. But at the end of the day, you know, you have to think a lot of the juniors now are transfers, so they haven't really been around too long. And that makes you think maybe next year for Eureka, they're going to be more underclassmen-led. Now, knowing Coach Wilde, I don't think that's the route he would take, but it definitely increases the chance of a lot of these underclassmen coming into this ballgame. Provost back at the line after getting fouled. Blackburn leads 100 to 87. So triple digits. I don't even think Eureka gave up 100 points to Indiana State on the road. That was a exhibition game. Obviously, Eureka Division III going up against Indiana State, who is Division I. I think the final score to that game was 99-57. So Blackburn has been able to outscore Indiana State against Eureka. Pretty impressive fact to their account. Here's a foul against Evan Jordan. He will get sent to the line. 50.6 seconds left. So it looks like Nolan Kerr will be subbed out for Eureka. On the floor for the Red Devils, it's Micah Brewer, Jackson Provost, Jonah Loff, Andrew Coker, and Ben Carter. I will say I'm a little shocked because there are a lot of fans, players, friends here for Blackburn in support of the Beavers. And typically on the road, or excuse me, at home when Eureka plays, during either Thanksgiving break or winter break, there's not usually a lot of fans at the Reagan. Coach Wilde not as happy with Eureka right now. Sorry, if you ever hear me take those pauses, I'm trying to understand what is being said on the court just so I can inform you guys as well and keep you in the loop. Brewer able to come up with a steal there. Open lane, he's going to have to reset, stops his feet, kicks it out to Ben Carter. Carter circling right at the rim, tried to slam it down, no good. 13 seconds left, and Blackburn will eat out the clock. That will end this ball game. So Blackburn ends up splitting the season series with Eureka, each team with one win. Final score, 102-90. So definitely offense was a bigger production than I thought it would be coming into this ball game, but Eureka drops to 2-10 on the season. They fall behind the 500 mark in conference play. Blackburn now 3-10 and are now at the 500 mark in the SLIAC. Again, final score 102-90. Jackson Provost led the way for Eureka. 28 points, just 4 away from his career high. For the Beavers, it was Evan Jordan leading the way. 31 points, 11 for 15 from the field, and he was perfect from behind the arc, knocking down a triple on 3 different occasions. But that is all we have for you. Again, final score 102-90. Our next broadcast of Eureka College basketball will be on January 8th when Eureka hosts MUW. You can watch that broadcast on our sister station, ECTV. Coverage begins at 5:30 p.m. Live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth, Eureka College basketball is made possible by City Blue Technologies, a leading Epson dealer serving Central Illinois. Potter Rentals of Gilman, Illinois, owned and operated by Ernie and Barb Potter, both Eureka College class of 1965. Heartland Bank and Trust, Randy Begole, your State Farm agent in Peoria, Eureka College class of 1994, and by Kirby Foods in Metamora. The executive producer of Eureka College basketball is Dr. John Malone. Tonight's studio operator is also Dr. John Malone. On behalf of my broadcast crew, this is Matthew Swan. Thank you for listening.